Industrialization in Japan in the mid-19th century was a transformative process that marked the country's rapid evolution from a feudal society into a modern industrial state. Although Japan was geographically distant from Europe, the epicenter of the Industrial Revolution, several key factors triggered and sustained this dramatic shift. These factors included external pressure, political reform, economic necessity, and a strategic focus on modernization and self-preservation. One of the most immediate triggers of industrialization in Japan was the arrival of U.S. Commodore Matthew Perry in 1853. Perry's black ships sailed into Tokyo Bay, demanding the end of Japan's centuries-long isolation under the Tokugawa shogunate. The signing of the Treaty of Kanagawa in 1854 opened Japan to Western trade and diplomacy, exposing the country to Western military technology, industrial goods, and ideas about governance and economy. This encounter with Western powers made Japan acutely aware of its vulnerability to foreign domination, as seen in China's humiliation during the Opium Wars. The realization that they were militarily and technologically behind the Western powers led Japan's leaders to understand that without modernization, their sovereignty was at risk. The opening of Japan's borders set the stage for a broader transformation of society, catalyzing the adoption of foreign technology and ideas that would spur industrial growth. The single most significant event that set the stage for Japan's industrialization was the Meiji Restoration of 1868. This political revolution marked the end of the Tokugawa shogunate and the return of political power to the emperor, specifically Emperor Meiji. The new government, aware of Japan's precarious position in the face of Western imperialism, adopted a policy of rapid modernization. The Meiji leaders implemented sweeping reforms across Japanese society, economy, and government. They sought to create a centralized state that could build a strong military, develop a modern economy, and ensure Japan's independence. To achieve these goals, they actively encouraged industrial development. They sent students and scholars abroad to study Western technologies, military tactics, and governance systems, while inviting foreign experts to Japan to help develop industries such as shipbuilding, mining, and textiles. The feudal system, which had previously hindered economic and social mobility, was dismantled. The class system was abolished, allowing people to take on new roles in commerce and industry. Land reforms allowed for more productive agricultural practices, which provided surplus capital that could be invested in industrial development. Agriculture had long been the backbone of Japan's economy, and the reforms initiated during the Meiji period transformed this sector into a more productive and profitable enterprise. Land reforms, including the introduction of a land tax system, led to an increase in agricultural productivity. The creation of a surplus in agriculture allowed for the accumulation of capital, which could then be invested in industrial ventures. This agricultural surplus was crucial for two reasons. First, it provided the resources to feed a growing urban population. Second, it generated the financial capital necessary to build factories and infrastructure. The modernization of agriculture also freed up labor, which became available for employment in emerging industries. Unlike in Europe, where industrialization was often driven by private entrepreneurs, Japan's industrialization was heavily guided by the state. The Meiji government actively promoted industrialization by establishing state-owned enterprises and investing in infrastructure, such as railroads and telegraph systems. The government played a direct role in founding factories, particularly in industries like textiles, shipbuilding, and arms production. To support these initiatives, the government provided subsidies and grants, encouraging the establishment of industries. In time, these state-run enterprises were privatized and sold to powerful business families, leading to the rise of the zaibatsu, large, family-owned conglomerates that would dominate the Japanese economy. Companies such as Mitsubishi, Mitsui, and Sumitomo emerged as major players in Japan's industrial landscape, driving economic growth and fostering innovation. One of the hallmarks of Japan's industrialization was its ability to selectively borrow from the West while maintaining its cultural identity. Japan imported Western technologies and industrial practices, particularly in the fields of shipbuilding, railroads, and textiles. Engineers and experts from countries such as Britain, Germany, and the United States were brought in to help establish new industries and train Japanese workers. This strategic importation of knowledge and technology was crucial to Japan's industrial success. For example, the textile industry, one of the first to be industrialized, relied heavily on imported British machinery, but Japan soon became proficient in manufacturing its own. This ability to adapt and improve upon foreign technologies allowed Japan to rapidly industrialize and become competitive on the global stage. The rapid development of infrastructure was another essential element of Japan's industrialization. The Meiji government prioritized building a network of railroads, roads, and telegraph lines, which facilitated the movement of goods and information across the country. The introduction of steam-powered ships and modern ports allowed Japan to engage in international trade more effectively. Additionally, the government invested in the development of modern educational institutions that emphasized science and engineering. This helped create a skilled workforce that could support industrial growth. Japan's desire to build a strong military was also a major driver of its industrialization. The Meiji government understood that a powerful military was necessary for defending Japan's sovereignty and expanding its influence in Asia. As a result, military industries such as shipbuilding, steel production, and armament manufacturing were prioritized. These industries not only contributed to Japan's military strength but also played a critical role in its overall industrial development. Japan's industrialization in the mid-19th century was triggered by a combination of external pressures, internal reforms, and strategic decisions aimed at preserving the country's independence and securing its place among the world's powers. The Meiji Restoration, with its emphasis on modernization, centralization, and industrial growth, provided the foundation for Japan's transformation into a modern industrial state. By borrowing selectively from the West and adapting foreign technologies to its own needs, Japan was able to industrialize rapidly and become a global economic power, despite being far from the European epicenter of the Industrial Revolution.